Hello folks, welcome to GingerLion's modded Minecraft Let's Play. I'm on episode 18 right now, and I've been, well, if you remember last time, I built myself a little bit of a tree farm, and frankly, I decided I don't like it very much. Let me go downstairs and show you why. Um, First, I had to separate all of the various trees into various sections like that, because they got too close to each other. And what I'm trying to produce is the foliage, not a whole bunch of wood. And what I was getting was a huge amount of wood. Also, I can't produce all the colors that I want to with one farm like this, and it's using quite a lot of fertilizer. So, what I've sort of decided is I want to make a whole bunch of individual tree farms. So, after thinking about it, realizing how tall trees get, this is, by the way, why I had to carve a big hole out of my floor, which I don't like the looks of. But again, I wanted more foliage. I decided that it's time for me to expand into the outer world up above. I'm thinking about it. I think that hill right over there, where I used to have my base and whatnot, is an absolutely perfect place for me to build a tree farm. Except, I want nice flat terrain. So, I'm going to build myself a tool. That many of you have played with, many of you haven't. I think you'll find it very interesting. It's called the Filler. It is a Buildcraft tool. The recipe looks like this. The only particularly odd things are the landmark and the gold gears. They're all pretty easy to make, so let me make some landmarks because I need a couple of them anyway. Let me grab some redstone. Now, this all is going to end up as planks anyway. Let's make some sets of these. So, first redstone torches into these Buildcraft landmarks. These are used both for construction purposes and they're used to mark out the dimensions. Maybe you saw before that I'd marked out the dimensions of this space to cause the quarry to call this to quarry down through just this space. Then, now that I have those, I'm going to make these gold gears, which start with wooden gears. So I need two of them, which are like so. And then we surround these by cobble, and that produces us stone gears. We surround the cobble with iron to get iron gears, and we surround the iron with gold to get gold gears. Now, I need a chest for the recipe. I need a crafting table for the recipe. If I'm correct, I need to turn some of these flowers into dandelion yellow. Now, I ought to have everything that I need for that recipe. Yep, there's the filler. Now, let me put away the things that I'm not using anymore. I'm going to keep these out, and actually, I could use a redstone torch or two in this process. Now, I've not worked with the filler for a while, so let me put it down and see what its interface looks like right now. Yeah, they changed the interface. You used to have to tell it what it was going to do in here by filling in glass or bricks. Looks like you don't need to do that anymore. That's nice. Pick it back up. Now, one thing that it does need is power. And I could run lines up there, and at some point I'm going to have to power my free farms. But for now, I just would really like to get this done really quickly, and the easiest way for me to do that is this. I'm going to steal this resonant energy cell that I put in here, and I'm going to replace it with an energy conduit. Now, my entire base is still all connected, everything's still running, but I have this in here with, if I hold shift over it, all 49 million redstone flux available, which is going to be more than enough to run the filler that I want to run. So let's go outside and decide what terrain I'd like my filler to flatten. Now, the disadvantage to using a filler is that it's going to, well, first, let me do something a little bit functional while I'm talking. The disadvantage to the filler is that it's going to destroy the blocks that it removes. In other words, I'm not going to get the advantage of having mined them, but the trade-off for that is that I don't have to take all of the time up that it's going to take. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some place marks around the outside of the terrain that I wish to remove. Now, if you place down one of these Buildcraft marks, the landmarks, and you put a redstone torch next to it, it produces a nice pretty blue line. That blue line demarks exactly what plane it's in and exactly how far it can operate. So there you go. That's sort of my maximum in terms of distance. It can only go 64 in each direction. So, I could run it a second time, and I probably will because, well, I like flat terrain. But for the moment, there we are. There is a relatively clean set of lines. Now, I would like to follow this out. So I know it's going to be there. It's down 2, now down 3. Because I would like it to clear out a good bit of the ways down here. And I'm not sure if it's... Yep, it's still going. Let's see. Will it go this far? It will not, it looks like. Let's find out where the limit is to my laser. Maybe it's still down here. No? Ah, I'm in the wrong line. There it is, it is, it is. It's there, it's there, it's there. Good. This is as far as I think I would like it to go. So now I have 3 place marks placed effectively in a L configuration at the 3 edges. Now I could identify vertically, but quite frankly, well, why don't I do that? I would like to make sure that it clears out everything that I could possibly want removed. So, I need this in my inventory. And I need to identify one more dimension. This will give me all of the possible dimensions in which to order my filler to work. So let's see. Is that high enough? Let's give it a couple more just to make sure that I have demarked every possible dimension. There. Now, down I go. Ow. I can remove this redstone torch now. And what I do is I place my filler right up against the... Oop, I forgot one major step. So what you have to do is you have to right-click on... You'll notice I put one there, and one there. I sort of made one central torch that's in line with all of them. Once you right-click on it, it establishes a boundary. And then you can take your filler and place it up against it, and all of your torches will break, which is fine, and the filler will draw out the dimensions it intends to operate in out here in space. So you can first come and collect your torches so that you don't lose those resources, because obviously they're useful. And then you can sort of walk the boundary line and make sure that it's getting everything that you want it to, and if it isn't, you can fix it. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is remove this water source and this water source, neither of which do I particularly want to be mucking up my new territory. So let's see, what's the easiest way to remove this water source? First of all, we can remove that one, like so. Let's swim up through here, without drowning preferably. See if I can find the source of this. There, perfect. Now, by placing sand blocks in each one of those water creation points, all of this water flow will trickle back down to the ground, and I won't have to worry about these 2 floods traveling into my area. And there you go. Yeah, it looks like everything that I might want to remove is inside, and it looks like I was just perfectly right by going up a couple more over there when you saw me do that. I'm going to take this. It might be useful to me. So, now what? Well, now I've got my filler placed. Now what I need to do is deliver it power. Now, it operates on Buildcraft power. So, theoretically, I could just take this energy cell and attach it directly to it, but because the resonant energy cell operates in redstone flux officially, and Buildcraft power operates in BC, sorry. Lost my train of thought for a moment there. It If I simply attach the two of them to each other, it's possible that they won't connect. However, if I grab myself an energy conduit, these have been specifically designed to convert between Buildcraft power and thermal expansion power, redstone flux, and therefore I know that one of these will allow these two to connect, and everything will work just like it's supposed to. Night is falling. So, I'm going to do this very quickly. These two should be... I would like you to clear. You should be connected. Let's make sure you're outputting in all of the possible directions. And that should be operating. But, because it's nighttime, what I'm going to do is go inside and sleep through the night, because I don't really want any creepers creeping up on my house or blowing up my new pieces of equipment, and then we'll go out and make sure it's working. Actually, I can tell, I think it's working already. Okay. So, if I go over here and look, armor apparently protects these guys from sunlight. If you'll note, this area is all flat now. And if I come over here and look, see if I can spot it where it's actually operating. Come on. Yep, see, over here, this is the edge of my boundary. That's why it's left that wall right there. Let's see if I can see the exact spot that it's either operating or stopped. Often, by the way, unfortunately, it gets stopped up by creatures standing in the way. And so I, unfortunately, may have to come in here and kill some of these cows, which I really prefer not to do, to get the filler to continue functioning as I want it to. So, just a minute. Let's see if I can figure out. Let's see if redstone flux is coming out of this. It's not going down, so I probably set these wrong. Yes, now redstone flux is coming out, and because it's able to output at 10,000 RF a tick, I guarantee that it's giving this filler as much power as the filler is capable of handling. Now, look, I'm collecting all these seeds. Now you can see the filler operating. See this? Zoop, 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 zoop. It's just removing layer after layer, flattening this terrain for me, so that I didn't have to. And you know that I've made some wonderful tools that would allow me to do this job very quickly and easily, but not as quickly and easily as this. Now, I do know I'm going to have a problem when it comes to this, because this pond is going to flood. So, I'm going to work as quickly as I reasonably can with the blocks that I have to reduce the amount of flooding that I'm going to get when this gets removed. I don't have enough blocks, do I? Nope, no. I'm going to go and see if I can turn this filler off real quick. Try to straighten this issue out. Now, all of these blocks are being destroyed. To me, this is a slight disadvantage. As I've said before, I tend to like to collect as many blocks as I can. That's why I put in those deep storage units so that I can collect up to 2 billion, cobblestone dirt, which I know perfectly well I'm never going to use anything even remotely like that. But I don't want to lose things. But When it comes to the efficiency of the filler, at the moment, I am willing to lose this dirt and sand and gravel, and even some ores that I definitely am losing, to the efficiency of this only taking a couple of moments to run. So, let me go clean up this pond, and start this filler back up, and I'll be back to you once I have this whole level area flat. Okay folks, as you see this entire area is cleared out, one thing you should know about the filler, you'll notice I've left it connected, and it's not doing anything, but it continues to drain energy regardless whenever it's connected. So, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it, and pick up my energy cell. And finally all you need to do is to break that. Now I'm going to clear up this completely unnecessary pillar of sand. And the next thing that I need to do is move it, because I don't think that's all the area that I'd like to clear out. While I'm out here doing terrain engineering, I might as well clear out a whole bunch of extra, so that whatever I need, whenever I need it, I have it. I won't have to bring out the machine again. Now, it's not hard to bring out, nor is it hard to set up, but I like to do lots when I'm doing any given project. So, next thing, I'd like to remove the same area over here. I couldn't earlier because it only extends 64 in any given direction. When you place down the place mark, even with a redstone torch next to it, that's as far as it can go. Now, yeah, I'd like to go just as far this way. This still being, say, the terrain I'd like to work in. It's a reasonable distance from my house, and that makes it easy. But this time I would like to go as far the direction that I'm facing right now as possible, because I would like to clear out anything extra next to my house that I can. So I placed that place mark first. Unfortunately, it only looks like I can go a couple of blocks extra, but that's more than nothing. That place, I'm going to place down my redstone torch next to it, and follow this out. Now, the furthest I think I would like to go is let me get myself in line with it. There, that looks like it's in line with it. Out about here feels good. Let's see if I'm still directly above it, or if I've wandered by a square or two. There it is. I'm going to place my next redstone torch there, and that gives me 3. And again, we need our 4th so that we have a correct altitude for it to clear up to. I'm going to go up a long ways this time, because there are trees that I would like to remove all of the tops of. I'm not going to get the wood, I'm not going to get the leaves. I may get saplings, at least occasionally, but I'm not going to get most of the stuff in here, which is fine with me this time. Generally, I like to use methods that give me all of the items that I can possibly get, but today, I'm more interested in speed. So, now, morph down to bat so that I don't hurt myself when I fall like this time. One of the nice things about bat form is it's completely immune to fall damage. Establish my red lines. Clear this out. Put my my filler next to it. Set it to clear. Place my conduit. Place my energy cell. And see if power is being drained. It is, which means it's working. So now I'm going to go quickly collect my place marks. I'm going to let this run. One of the things that you always have to do, in fact, I'll do this on camera this time so that you see. I've filled my inventory with cobblestone. That's because I know that there's going to be at least some water somewhere in this neighborhood, or some other fluid, that I'm going to have to fill in so that I don't get a flood. I don't see any of it yet, but that doesn't matter. Likely there's some, at least one little dot of a spring under here somewhere. Last time, I came across this lake of sludge, which flooded into my neighborhood, and sludge is bad because if you get in it, you take status ailment. Let me actually show you. I know I can survive it at the moment, but you'll notice I got hunger, slowness, and poison just from taking a quick little dip in that water. Glad I have enough food on me to take care of that. Let my health come up. And keep monitoring. It's possible that there won't be a unit of liquid in here, but better safe than sorry. Always worth being prepared with a couple of stacks of blocks so that when it comes across something, you can fill it in very quickly instead of having to come back and do it later once the water is flooded out in all directions. It makes a bit of a mess. So back over here. Just going to watch this whole process run. I generally do not recommend people use fillers like this in areas, for example, probably not worth using this down deep where there might be ores that you're really concerned about because it will destroy them. Probably not worth using in areas where there's a lot of liquid blocks, because then you might as well have just done it yourself by hand. You'll notice there are a couple of things like this Certus quartz that I really care about that I'm going to bother coming and mining by hand while the machine's running. The reason I care so much about Certus quartz is because I use applied energistics for my storage so much that I always run out of Certus quartz. It's one of the necessary components. And now you'll notice it's midday. I basically started picking up the machine at game time morning. And here we are, not even midday, and we're almost done. In fact, I'm pretty sure the machine just finished its process. Iron I'm not worried about. No, not completely done. Oh, I'm about to lose that quartz. That's sad. But there we are, folks. This was less than 2 full game days worth of time. And we have a huge area open that I'm going to fill in. Now, here's one of the neat things about the filler. Let me remove this so that it's not continuing to use. I have said pretty clearly that what I intend to use this area for is farming, right? Well, for farming I need dirt on the ground. So, I'm going to need to go and place a whole bunch of dirt now, right? Well, yes and no. So let's start by dumping all the excess stuff out of my inventory that I don't need right now. I'm going to end up using place marks again, so I might as well keep them. But I'm going to need a bunch of dirt, because I want to cover that area in dirt. No, not gravel, but dirt. Maybe that's enough, maybe it's not. So, what I'm going to do is come out here to my filler, you'll notice its name, and set my filler to flatten. Now, I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, but I'm going to try anyway, and if not, I will do a different methodology that will save me just as much time. So now it's set to flatten. What does that mean? Well, let's go put the power conduit in and see what happens. Wow, I'm collecting an awfully large amount of seeds. So it looks like it only filled in the any holes that were in the ground. Well, let me change its mode again. Now I'm going to remove this so it doesn't start doing any of these things until I tell it to. I would like it to build a box. Now I'm going to stop it before it's finished, but what I believe that it is going to do is fill in the entire floor of this box first. That's exactly what I'd like, because now I'll have a dirt floor. Now remember when I'd said that animals in the way can cause a problem? I'm willing to bet that this cow right now is blocking this filler from working. So let me push him out of the way. Maybe it ran out of dirt. Probably ran out of dirt. So I didn't put a huge amount of dirt in there. Come back over here and check. Yep, out of dirt. Let me fill back in a whole bunch more dirt. Yep, and there we ran up against that cow. There are 2 cows in that neighborhood that I'm going to see if I can, rather than killing them, if I can convince them to step up. Just generally step out of the way. Yeah, run away from me. There you go. Thank you. Now the filler can continue to do its job. And it ran out of dirt again. So, I'm going to manage this process, sleep a couple of times, and get this entire area filled with dirt, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, one more quick trick, folks, when using the filler. If you intend to just fill in a floor area, you can set up this, which is basically two place marks, one directly above the other. And you'll notice I placed them one above the floor. That's because I intend to set this on, what is the mode? Flatten mode, which will fill in all the area below it with whatever it is that I fill in here. Now, if you wanted to make a nice pretty plane of stone or glowstone or bricks or glass or whatever other material it is that you have, you can put it in here instead of dirt. I'm just using it to make myself a little bit of a farming area, so obviously dirt is my answer. So there we go. It will as quickly as it can fill in. I know I'm going to need more dirt, so I'm going to go get it, and I'll be back on camera once I've got this entirely set up. Well, there you are, folks. Use of the filler to both empty an area and to fill it with a nice, clean, flat plane. Note that this is completely unlit and all of the rest of it. I'm going to have to go straighten all of that stuff out manually. But use of a very useful tool to clear ourselves out a nice, large area that I can use for farming. So, I'm going to wrap this episode up here. I know it's a little bit early, but the last couple have been particularly long. And next episode we'll come back and I'll begin to set up all of the outdoor farming that I would like to do. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. See you next time.